Hi, everyone. I want to start by talking about how when we arrived in Austin, we didn't have a specific project or issue or application in mind. The city had just given us a broad mandate to use lightweight, creative technology to bring open source solutions to citizen participation with the government. So Mateo, some of our other city partners, had set up a lot of meetings and really made room for us. The city was already using open source technology. So the opportunity was there for us to be effective. But like a lot of other speakers have mentioned, it wasn't just about the apps. And if you caught the interlude earlier, I mentioned the folded arms test. We had about 100 meetings while we were there in February, and we really needed a way to validate whether our message was getting across to the skeptical people in the room. So we devised what we called the folded arms test. Seeing if people would unfold and really engage with us and give us ideas. It took us an entire meeting once for someone to realize that we weren't code compliance and that we were software code. But eventually we found that we found, though, that the skeptics really would come around and engage with us and often give us the best contacts, and in the case of Austin, some of the best barbecue. So people's minds were beginning to change, but we did have some apps that we wanted to start just giving them a taste, no pun intended, of what we were trying to do. So this is something we built for the city's People's Gallery, which is an annual celebration at City Hall, where citizens decide what art pieces will remain on display throughout the year. So our app simply cataloged them and gave people an opportunity to comment and have those comments displayed on monitors around the venue. Another kind of quick win example, we took a press release and made an interactive map out of it using Google Custom Maps for the South by Southwest Festival. And the traffic department is actually going to be rolling out their own road closure and traffic data maps within the coming months, which we're excited about. So people's minds were coming around. We had a few examples of what we were trying to do, and now it was time to get the community involved, as this great sign outside of the city council chambers reminded us every day. So we see a shot here of my teammate Aurelio at our first hackathon, Code Across America, that Kevin spoke about earlier. We had a number of city employees there, got some great feedback on the data portal from the community, sets that people wanted to see, applications they wanted to build, and how they can really take advantage of those opportunities with the city. So coming back here in March, we were really in good shape to start building. So Emily's going to talk about some of our applications.
Thanks. Hi. So now that Austin was starting to get a little bit more about what we were about, what we were capable of, we decided to launch into a bigger project. So in 2011, there was a wildfire that spread through Bastrop County, and over 1,300 homes burnt down. So fire preparedness was on everyone's mind, and homeowners didn't exactly know what to do to be more prepared, and the fire department didn't exactly know how to tell them all. So we moved forward working with different emergency preparedness groups and response teams, and we did a bunch of research, and we asked them, like, what do you need? And they said, we need a better way to get information out more quickly to more people. And we want them to use the information we have. Then we met with a bunch of different homeowners and HOAs and had the fire department come to their house and started to figure out what it was that they needed. And so what they seemed to need was manageable information that was catered and specific to them so that they knew what to do. So we built Preparedly, which is a web tool that will help you assess the risk of your address based on your location, current real-time weather data, as well as your proximity to a green belt. So your level will change throughout the year. The fire department can also send you a text with instructions on high alert days. So this is a good example of what you need to do when it's a high alert day. You need to not park on the grass or not mow your lawn. We also have simple tasks for homeowners to do, which will help them stay more prepared for wildfire, like this one, and you can also set it on your phone to remind you on Saturday morning, or whatever morning you want. So we got pretty good response after we launched in June. Since we've launched in June, we have over 800 accounts created, as well as over 700 tasks marked as complete, and 26 different organizations and people that want to use Preparedly for different natural disasters in different places. So we continued on to work with the Austin Animal Shelter, which is a really awesome facility that they've just built. It's a no-kill facility, and they don't turn away any animals. So as you can imagine, people from all over Texas bring their animals to drop them off here where they know they won't be put down. So this is actually a really crowded place. It's always overcrowded, and 20% of the animals that are in their facilities are called RTOs. So this means return to owner. So they're animals that essentially ran away and just haven't found their way back home yet. So we built Stray Mapper, which takes the location that the animal was found, as well as a picture from when it was admitted, and you can browse the map and see if your pet is there. You can also then continue on to contact the animal shelter if you found your pet. So things were starting to gel throughout the year. I think in February when we were there, we were trying to trade people beer for data because no one really wanted to put their data on the data portal. And so eventually, I think people just started to volunteer their data. Maybe it was the beer, maybe it was all the great people in Austin that were offering them or telling them the great possibilities and all the hackathons that we were throwing. So I think there were about 20 data sets in February, and now there's over 150. And departments are just willingly sending their data to the web team, which is just great to see. We've also had people from the hackathons that we've come to continue on with their projects and go and present them at City Hall. And the people at City Hall have been super receptive and really supportive. So that's also been great to see. People like Chip Rosenthal, who is now our Austin Brigade captain, which is really exciting. So he's been doing great things all along, and we were able to connect him and shine a light on all the wonderful things he's already been doing. And it's great to see him move forward and set up these open government meetups that connect people throughout all of Austin and have been really successful so far. I think somewhere along the line, people started to see that we weren't capable of any sort of magic. We weren't really doing anything that extraordinary, but what we were doing was connecting people and connecting efforts that were already going on and moving in small strides that were actually getting everybody really far along. Which brings me to a lightweight project that we are still working on right now called ATX Floods. So when Matt Porcher, who works for the Watershed Department, approached us, he wanted a way to get information out about low water crossings being open or closed during flash floods in Austin. It's a problem because you have to decide which route to take, and once you get to a road, you can't tell how deep the water is, and some people try and cross anyway, and actually multiple people die a year trying to cross over these low water crossings. So he's been trying to build a map that will show these places for 3 years. And so he sent me a CSV file, and we were able to stand up a map, ATX Flood. He'd already bought the URL. He was so excited. And so I put the CSV file into CartoDB, was able to make the colors of the dots change based on open or closed, and we integrated Twitter and sent him instructions on how to set this up completely on his own. So it's CartoDB, a free account, a CSV file that he already had, and Twitter. Actually, just a Twitter hashtag, not even a Twitter account. So he has this set up. He sent me this picture from the recent rains, and this was up in their emergency response room. And it's pretty exciting. So my conclusion is that it's really not about us, all of these things we've been doing, and it's really not about what we are capable of as fellows. It's about what we can all do together. It's about showing what's possible and moving forward together so that next year, when we're not there, Austin keeps moving forward. And now I'd like to bring Aurelio up.
Hi, thanks a lot, Emily and Joe, for that great overview. I just want to quickly chime in and say that, coming in as a fellow this year, my biggest unknown and fear was okay, how is it going to be like working with Austin, and specifically our city contacts, right? And I want to report that besides introducing us to a proper introduction to great barbecue, Texas barbecue, they have been true partners for us. So I really want to give a shout out to Doug Matthews, Charles Perma's mustache, beard, and shades, which have always been ever present. And last but not least, I want to introduce Mateo Escobar, who was instrumental and critical in redesigning the website and also bringing the data portal. And he'll now talk about how it was like for us working with them and from their perspective.
Great, thanks, Aurelio. I do really want to talk, especially to the cities who are going to be joining Code for America in 2013, about what was the most valuable thing for Austin. And for us, without a doubt, it's the Code for America effect. And we've heard that before, and I have to tell you it's true. It's the most invaluable thing that you can bring, really. It's not the apps, it's not all the press clippings and all that stuff. It's really getting people to awaken to the world of possibilities through civic app development. And when people try to ask me what that was like, the only thing I can really ever come up with is it's a lot like The Wizard of Oz. So Austin is kind of a weird place, and we obviously have natural disasters and floods and all kinds of things. But one thing that we have is, as the fellows mentioned, is people with crossed arms, obviously people sometimes within the government. But you also have people within the government who've been wanting to do this stuff for years, who really, a lot of times just staff who have great ideas and don't know where to take them, and sometimes the government's not always open to those things. You're able to kind of open up those doors. And so what we were able to do once these guys landed on the ground is something like this. What you got to do is kill the witch. The witch is not a person. The witch is not a character. The witch is a culture, and that's the culture that I was just talking about. It's the culture that doesn't allow innovation, or that is business as usual, and we want to get past that. So that's one of the things that you'll start to see happening, is that once the witch is killed, all the munchkins start coming out and saying like, hey, this is actually pretty cool. We've been wanting to enjoy our town. So this is kind of where we are right now with Code for America. We're coming towards the end of our formal partnership. We are just really on the path. We're not there yet. And I don't think you ever really get there. I think that's where I'll diverge away from the analogy that I'm using, is that we're never really just going to get to Oz. We're always going to be improving. You're always going to have a field of poppies to try to put you to sleep. You're going to have new witches popping up every once in a while. But you have to persevere. And so we really want to drive that point home. This is where we ultimately want to. Oh, did I go too fast? Sorry. This is the city. In a fantasy land, and there's great things they've done. First Codeathons that the city's ever hosted was because of Code for America. The formalization of the brigade is a great thing. And one thing that I'm not sure everybody's aware of, but just 3 weeks ago, our city council added funding for an innovation office for the city of Austin, and I give a lot of credit to Code for America for making that happen. So with that, we have a fully realized city. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.